Still trying to throw the ball. On first and goal, second and goal. Panicking at third. Fourth, I'm wishing for a muff.
Welcome to the 5-1 Huddle podcast. I'm excited today. We got national champion Coach Beam in the house today. We got Coach DLane. How you feeling today?
Man, I'm feeling real great, man. We're here at home of the national champions with my guy, Coach Beamer, right here. It's my guy right here, man. You was one of my first goals to get on this show, Coach, actually, when I was writing up the whole script and everything.
Well, it's been my goal to be on this show, so I'm fired up.
Let's go, man. Let's go. We got a Hall of Fame coach here in Coach Beam. I just want to give you a little bit of his background so you know where he's coming from. Coach Beam started out at Serra High School in San Diego in 1979. He moved to Oakland, where he was at Skyline High School all through most of the 80s and all through the 90s. He accumulated 11 section championships, 15 league championships, and 4 undefeated seasons, and went undefeated in league play throughout the 90s. He boasts 160 wins, 33 losses, and a 3-tie overall record during his time in high school. From there, he jumped to Laney, where he was the running back coach at first, and then he transitioned into the offensive coordinator position, and then eventually became the head coach and athletic director. So that's big.
Yeah, we decided to have Coach Beam on the show. He's been around. He's a local guy from the Bay Area, coached at Skyline, now the national champ, Laney College. And so today we want to get the insight of Coach Beam, see how, everything that's crazy and great things that happened this past season. So we'll get into it. So, Coach, let's talk about the transition you had from, Sierra to moving out to Oakland.
Well, I grew up in San Diego, but I went to Kearney High School, which is a very diverse high school for me. And I played junior college football. I was playing junior college football as all conference as a 205-pound offensive lineman. I'm proud of that, pound for pound. Yeah, exactly. Okay. I don't know, more getting in the way, And then I blew out my knee and I had ACL surgery. Then I got a scholarship offer to New Mexico, Eastern New Mexico. Then I had my second surgery. So my my junior college coach said, hey, go coach at this high school while you rehab and get ready to go. And I did it, and I was at Serra High School, loved it. Took him to the playoffs for the first time, played against Marcus Allen and his folks. And I loved it. I'm like, I'm not gonna go to the NFL, so I like working with young people, let's do it. Then I moved up here to Oakland, and the job opened at Skyline when I got here, so I was a defensive coordinator for 5 years. Then I spent 17 years as the head coach. Coming to Oakland was, like I tell people, I didn't pick Oakland. Oakland picked me. Okay. And I loved every minute of it. The impact that you make or can make. But, everybody talks about, over the years, you made this great impact on young people because, I've always taught in East Oakland. But really, I think those young people made an impact on me and shaped who I am. Because I firmly believe, the saying, I am somebody. Anybody can be somebody if they put their mind to it. All we have to do is give you the opportunity. I like to tell people that Skyline, Laney, gives you hope and opportunity. Now, What are you going to do with it?
Definitely gave me hope and opportunity. I played under Coach Beam, and when I first got here, we had a plan, and he helped me definitely achieve my goal and to hash that plan out the right way. I wanted to be a mid-year guy and get out right away, and he held true to his word and got me out after one semester.
But remember, you already took care of business in high school. You came here and took care of business. It was tough playing at this level for you.
Yeah, definitely for the first few weeks.
It would have been nice if you're a little bit bigger, but you had the biggest heart around, and you brought it. Yeah. But you were smart, and you were dedicated to your craft to get better. The coaches loved coaching you, DLane, because you were coachable. You absorbed what needed to happen. So it was a two-way street, brother. You did what you're supposed to do.
Coach, you touched on it. You said your old junior college coach is the one that got you into coaching. I had a question for you. I was gonna ask you who were some mentors and coaches that you looked up to as a young coach. You probably still look up to coaches now, but getting into the game, who were some guys you were looking to?
I played at Kearney High School. It was kind of like Skyline, a perennial championship. I think I lost 3 games in 3 years of high school football because we didn't start till 10th grade. Okay. So he was good. Then Charlie Popa was my line coach, and he instilled upon me look, there's more to football than football. It's school. So he said, you can do more, and he pushed me to be a coach. But I tell everybody, Mike Martz, the Rams Super Bowl coach, right? That was my OC. So I learned from him.
Okay.
And then when I moved up here to go to Cal State Hayward, which is now East Bay, Mike Bellotti, the Oregon coach, was the OC there.
Yeah,
so,
they used to have a football program,
yes.
right? Okay.
So I've been around some big-time offensive-minded coaches. And so, not that I'm saying I am, but I've been influenced by people. I've been around good coaches my whole life. And so, to me, I can't let them down and not do a good job with the people I'm entailed to. So I want to be able to inspire you to be whatever you can be. I never want to tell someone that they can't do it. I may think in my back of my mind, I don't know if they can do it. But, it's possible. Anything's possible, So I don't want to be a dream killer.
Mm-hmm. No, that makes a lot of sense. I mean, speaking into being around Mike Martz, we know he's part of, what they call the greatest show on turf. That's, for the young listeners that don't know, those Kurt Warner teams, Marshall Faulk, Isaac Bruce, Torrey Holt, they tore it up. Being the offensive play caller at Laney, how do you think your game has evolved with the game changing? More of a space game, more of a speed game.
Yeah.
Because we know Laney stays true to their roots with running that rock. So
I'm always going to run the rock,
yeah,
right?
There you go.
And people ask me, why do I run the ball? But understand this, when I went to Skyline, every year that I was there, whoever the starting back was a Division I player. And many of them went to the NFL. So if I had all these great quarterbacks, then I'd probably be a throwing guy, right? Mm-hmm. But in this area in Oakland, you're always going to get someone that can run the ball.
That's true.
So let's build it around there. What we've done over the last 3 years is we've evolved our offense. And what I did is I kind of, the spread, but I'd use my eye back mentality and roots to use it in the spread. So we're out of everything's in gun. We don't go anything under center. And what it does is it creates matchup problems, right? So if we run the ball like in the state championship game, they're playing 6 in the box. I can run against 6 in the box all day long. As soon as they try to creep someone in, our receivers what we've done is we got unselfish receivers now. They block like linemen. And so we flip the ball out to them and we let them do what they need to do. And now they're running with the ball. Now everybody's trying to stop the little quick screen and everything from them. Then we go up top with a fake. Then we catch them. So we end out getting a lot of man-to-man. So a receiver can flourish. If you can beat man-to-man, you're going to be successful. But at the same time, we reduce the box because with 6 hats in the box on defense, I got 5 blockers plus now the quarterback's a runner in the back. And so this year our quarterback ran for 900 yards. Our running back ran for 1,300, right? Come on now, you can't. We were too heavy.
My year, what Kurt ran for? Kurt ran for some
yards too. He did. But see, we didn't quite understand at that time how to utilize them. When we were still just playing with it. Yeah. Now if I had him, he'd be even better because we've embraced the whole thing. Anybody can throw that lateral pass or what I call long handoff out there. Anybody can do that. But in top
that was an extension of the run game.
Exactly. To me it is. Yeah, definitely. Right? So, we throw that like crazy. And then we get our receivers all can run with the ball. They get yak. They love yak. So, I'm fired up.
Coach, I know last season, I talked to you before I got into coaching. Last year I was on the defensive side of the ball. This year I'm doing co-offensive coordinator. And you kind of had the same upbringing as far as starting at defensive coordinator. Yeah. How has that benefited you when calling plays?
I think for number one, for me, as a DC, you want sacks, you want turnovers, right? As the OC, I don't want to give up sacks. So if you look at Laney, historically doesn't give up very many sacks because that's momentum, that changes things, right? And turnover. So it makes me work out. But I also know that I know what the defense is trying to attack us, right? So I can take advantage of some of those ideas. And I think you just kind of get an idea, I still believe in this saying because I was a head coach, right? Offense wins games, defense wins championships. So I want to make sure we're always strong on defense. Even now as a play caller and a head coach, I still make sure our defense gets plenty of time, whatever they need. And then you mentioned this early, with Coach Deco, special teams coordinator, right? Let's make sure that we're good on special teams. So we block a lot of kicks. Like in the state championship, we blocked, punt, sets up our first touchdown.
See, that's definitely big. I know you touched on at Skyline, you were around a lot of Division I NFL running backs. You run the football here, you've had good running backs, so C.J. Anderson play here. So what do you look for? What traits do you look for in a good running back?
I think they're all over, right? You can't coach a running back. Does that mean I can't turn them into you're either a natural running back or you're not? If I got to tell you how to run the ball, you can't run. Yeah. But what I can do is make sure that I teach you aiming points and teach you to compete and run hard. So For us, I want balance, but more importantly, I want vision. I want speed, but okay, I can deliver quickness, right? I don't care how big. I've had tall, Frank the Tank, 220-pound running back. CJ, 185. This year, John McDonald's probably about 180, but he's 10.5. Marcel, we talked about Marcel, very shifty, but put together. Amari Davis, probably a little bit faster. I know it's about that time, so let's think about it, okay? You don't need to have one particular guy.
That's real good insight on running backs. Today's game, it seems, on a previous show, I've knocked a lot of running backs. I say running backs the easiest, position to replace, I believe.
It is.
Especially because,
What you call them, the whores of the NFL?
Yeah, that's what my high school coach called them, Coach Pooh, whores of the NFL. But, look at the Patriots. The best back probably been Corey Dillon through this whole run. They have a guy that can run hard, a guy that can catch, and a balanced guy. You see your Eagles, when they won a Super Bowl, again, they had 3 backs that could do it all. So that's why running game is important. Like, you either have 3 guys that can do it all, in my opinion, or 1 guy that can just do everything.
So think about this. So we're in the state championship game this year against Ventura, right? They scored 5 times in a row. We didn't stop them. But they would score in 2 minutes. I was scoring 14 minutes. They score in 3 minutes. I score in 16 minutes. I'm eating clock. With a strong running game, I'm eating. Just think about when you're on that sideline, you're getting pissed. Your offense can't get out there, so now you make a mistake because you're trying to do something too fast. Defense, I'm taking your heart from you. My linemen are pounding you, right? You can't do anything. Your DBs, your pretty boys, they mad. Now they want to stick their nose in there. Once they do, Angelo Davis, McClymonds High School, right? Bam, bam, 2 Dougs, right? Because they want to start taking their nose in there. Came out on a naked boot, boom, wide open.
No, that's true. I'm not, like I said, I'm not against the run game. I'm just, my
I hear you.
Yeah. Cause we've seen, my whole life, a consistent team in the Bay Area, I've seen Stanford. I see them consistently always winning. And they stick true, what Harbaugh brought there.
They lie,
probably the greatest high school team in the country, they stay true to the run game. And I believe, we see this spread game as, things getting smaller linebackers where, we've seen it this year in the playoffs. The Patriots play big boy ball against the Chargers, who had 6-7 DBs at one time. So if you do put together a power team against all these teams built to spread, it'd be pretty dominant.
So my offensive philosophy, like from Mike Martz and those guys, right? Take what they give you. Don't try to fit a square peg in a round hole. So you trying to throw, they're in nickel and dime, or all the D linemen are putting their ears back and trying to come. Let them come. Now I'm trapping them, right? You're going to be a nickel, I'm running the ball. Now you want to be heavy, I'm throwing the ball. Take what they give you. So I have no problem doing that. That's my motto, So look, now there's certain times, I'm going to just run it because I want to eat clock, especially when I see that we can. But, again, I can't be too stubborn. And when they load, like this year against, I'm going to give you a prime example. We're playing Chabot. They loaded the box. I didn't get them out of that. That was me, bad coaching. Yeah. We still won, but I could have made it a lot easier on our players.
Yeah, I feel like calling plays is one of the hardest things to do because, as you know, it's flow, it's your game plan, a lot of things go into it. In football, if you look back it's usually like 5 plays that win the game, 5 plays that lose the game. So it's a tough balance calling plays, definitely.
Coach, I wanted to ask you, how was the transition from being a high school play caller to being college, and to college on this level, and what's some of the things you had to change within your philosophy or within your offensive system to be successful on this level?
So everybody told me, this ain't high school anymore. That's crap. Football's football. So it wasn't. Now, what I would say is the coaching's better. So when I was winning in the OAL, the coaching wasn't very good. So you could come with a game plan and run it the whole time. Up here, you come in your game plan, they're going to stop it. So you better have plan B and plan C. The coaching is just better. So it's not that you can, I don't think you have to change because you still, no matter what, right, it's still blocking and tackling. So now, the biggest difference from high school to college for me is now you have to recruit. You got to go find kids. So at Skyline or McClymonds or even Castro Valley, you know where you're going to go. And you can't wait to, you're playing Pop Warner, you're going to go to that high school, you play JV, then you play varsity, so it's there. Remember, I'm turning over a roster, half the roster every year. And they're coming from places that have never won. Some have won. So some know how to win. Like, we had, Javari Anderson coming from De La Salle. He played in the biggest games, national TV games. You get a kid from, a Royal or somebody, they ain't won a game. I remember I had a quarterback my first year here as an OC, Matt Dardine, phenomenal quarterback. He won 2 games in 4 years of high school. But for me, Division I quarterback. He got all the records, but he had never won. And then he threw a touchdown to Chuck Walker with 7.8 seconds left in the game. Neither of them made that big play. Chuck was from Hayward. Never had to come down to the wire to make that play. So we kind of find out what they have. You can't coach that. You try to instill it in drills. You try to compete. I think, when I'm here, I like to compete on everything. That's what I feel like, because I think that's what life. I think life is about competition, right? Healthy competition, right? But I think you learn when you put yourself up against somebody or a task. It might be like when you look at you guys are so prepared for today. That was a challenge. That was a competition. Maybe you competed against each other. Who's going to have the best questions? You hear what I'm saying? So that's what it all comes down to, right? We compete every day, but remember to compete against yourself. Make it healthy competition.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, competition brings out the best.
Exactly.
My favorite thing I think, Coach, about Laney is the process here. And from academics, with Doug, I went around to multiple junior colleges before I locked in on Laney, and you guys were the only one to show me an academic plan.
Okay.
To get me out of here in 3 semesters if I wanted to stay. Yes. And you guys are the only one that did that. And I really appreciate that. And then also just how you attack practice, like you said, with competing, even just with the different drills and how do you control practice?
With the bugs.
Periods. The periods, like I had that at the next level, and it was easy for me to transition. I just think you got the right process up here, Coach, to help these kids.
We want this to mimic where you want to be, right? Look, you didn't grow up wanting to come to Laney or any community college, right? Mm-hmm. But when you come here, you do have a goal to be somewhere else. We want to simulate that something else. I've been blessed to be around some of the best coaches in the world. I worked for the National League for years, so I had an eye to be able to be at practices and be around people, right? Not go hear someone talk at a clinic, but talk to them face to face, sit in their office, and really understand what's going on. But it's about, like you said, a process of a plan. But number one, the plan is this: academics. Don't get played. You play the system because the system will play you. You and I talked about when you're out, well, they want me to play, I'm hurt. Well, then you tell them you can't go, right? Get your degree. They're paying for your degree. You paying with the aches and pains in your body. Get your degree. Even when you come to Laney, we're going to work you to death. Make you have a degree. Make us have tutoring for you. Make us have Doug, right? So everything's set up for you to be successful since you left. Now we have food when you go to tutoring.
Okay.
We feed them, right?
Incentives.
Exactly,
okay.
right?
Okay.
Because I know you're hungry now, right? So we want to make that, right? We have our, the math and English class. So now we have the tutor before you go to math. We have a tutor an hour before class before you go to math. Right? Okay. Make you successful. Demand that from us as coaches, right? As educators. Our job is to educate you. How it's done is going to be different for everybody in this room, but we have to educate you. Your job is to come and be a student athlete every day. We work this together.
I think that's big, focus on, like you said, a degree, the plan, because as me and DLane, former college athletes, is, even if, let's say you go to the NFL, we're talking off camera, a lot of guys don't have the financial literacy.
Nope.
So you need to be smart. And it doesn't matter if you could be the best player to ever walk, play this game, or the worst player. It's going to end someday. So you got to have the skills outside of football to succeed in life.
100%.
Imagine being 35 years old, retired from the game, played 20 years in the league, and then you got a 7th grade reading level. So.
But see, the league didn't do that to you. Someone pimped you earlier in your life, or they moved you through. And I tell this story to everyone. When you look at my office, you see Marvell Smith's jersey in my office, right? Marvell played for me at Skyline. Marvell spent 10 years in the NFL. That's a long time in the NFL. He's got 2 Super Bowl rings, Pro Bowl. He's one of the 10 highest paid people in the league. But at 10 years, 32 years old, he's out of the league. What do you do now? The rest of your life, you have to do something. He's got his degree. He's taking care of himself, right? He had financial literacy. He didn't blow his money, right? He did wise investment, but because he had a degree, he could personally check on what's going on, right? You're not owing someone else to try. Like they just had this thing with Lorenzo Ball, right? Someone stole his own people stole his money.
$1 million.
You hear what I'm saying? That was his his dad's people. Well,
yeah, for like 10 years, that's supposed to be his
that's
boy.
supposed to be your boy, and they taking money from him. But that's the way the world works. And so if well, look, Oakland, right? You know how it is, right? You either gonna be a hustler or be hustled. What's it gonna be?
That's true.
Hustle your game.
Exactly. I think a lot of young athletes like the school piece is just as big as the football piece because it keeps your options open. Even if you're a great football player, let's say you want to get into coaching, anything, you got to have that degree piece. And, I feel like coming to Laney, like you said, the financial plan, everything, that's going to help a lot of young athletes out for the long run. So.
Coach Beam, I seen a debate recently on Twitter, and I wanted to ask your input on it. A few coaches were talking about, is it a high school coach? It's for the high school level. Is it a high school coach responsibility, full responsibility to get their players a scholarship?
That's a tough question, man. It really is. So when I was at Skyline, I thought that was my job, right? I wanted to do that, right? I thought these kids put in so many hours with me, summer, all the time, right? I owe them that. But in another sense is that, a lot of coaches, they wait a minute, I get paid to teach basically, and then coaching's part of it. So where is that fine line? Me personally, I think that's the part of it. But see, many high school kids, everybody thinks they're, no one wants to say they're not a D1.
Yeah.
Everybody's D1. Well, you 5'2", playing offensive line, brother. Like me. Yeah. I was 205 pounds. Was I D1? I mean, I got letters from D1 because I made all conference, but they must not have seen really how big I was, right?
Yeah.
So am I really D1? No. But the point is, in my mind, I am. So there's that reality check. Now, even here at Laney, right? I tell them, I said, look, well, coach, you gonna give me a D? No, that ain't my job. Here's what I do. My job is to bring Division I coaches here. As you know, there's coaches here every day.
Walking through the halls.
So they're here. Now your film, and more importantly, your transcript has to open the door for you to get in.
So the players got to do their part.
Right. I don't have no scholarships in my back pocket. Like, look in there. I tell the kid the other day, I said, look in my pocket. Do you think there's one in there? Ain't nothing in there, right?
Yeah.
But my job is to bring the guys here to see it. So I would say that's the college coach, high school coach's job. Do you run a good enough program? Do you have film, good film, right? So that people can see it and able to be, to recruit you. Are you they send questionnaires to you, do you fill them out and send them back on time? Are you making sure that your athlete has Division I grades? Are you explaining to them what those grades are, right? Are you able to, make sure they understand that, look, nothing is guaranteed. So, right, there's more money on academic scholarships than there are in athletic scholarships.
Definitely.
So that is more probably the job of a high school coach, And then, I think these guys, I've seen more and more where high school coaches are taking them on some tours. Yeah. And so sometimes take them on a tour to see, this could be you, right? This could be your next step at a young age. Now, once I take you to Cal or San Jose State, now you kind of see it. All right, let's talk about what you have to do, right? Okay, these are the grades you need. Are you working out every day? Yeah. Are you in the weight room doing these things? And, you're getting your time now. Again, if you're a DB and you're running 5'4", 40, dude, you ain't going to a D1. But if you're running 4'8", as a sophomore, let's see if we can make it a 4.6 by your senior year. Now, right? So let's look at you, DLane, right? Were you a D1 guy at high school? Maybe. But what you did, you were undersized. So you came to this level to prove that your size was not a detriment to what you could do, right? You outplayed your size. Linemen are like that, right? So those are things, or, like our receiver this year, Jared Smart, right? His dad was a big-time player, coaches in the NBA, won the national championship in basketball, right? Okay. So he went to Dublin, but he's not that fast. So he came here and proved that he could get open at this level for 2 years. So, yeah, if you clock him, you probably go, man, coach, he ain't got D1 speed, but you ain't covering him.
You're getting open.
But you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah,
but he proved that. So when you don't have those measurables sometimes, this is a way to come to this level to prove that you can do it because the coaching's better and there's better talent. Right?
Okay.
You're playing. When you're a high school senior, you're playing against a freshman or a sophomore. Come on, you come here, you playing against grown men.
Mm-hmm. I think that's on point as far as high school responsibilities. I know one thing. I was lucky with Coach Peters McClimans. He guides you through JUCO. He let players know, you're a JUCO player. You need a little weight on you. You do this, or I think it's coach's job, to at least give players honest evaluations. And the problem I believe is players don't take that he doesn't know what he's talking about. Everyone wants to go D1.
Of course. Of course. And like I said, you know, like I had this conversation the other day with a kid, right? I said, look, I've been doing this 39 years. You right. I don't know what a D1 player looks like, right? Because it only takes one. We had this receiver, Talib. Coral, remember Talib? He's older than you, but
he was Brown Darcy.
Yeah,
he played my second year.
So anyways, he had all these like 80 catch, whatever, right? 70 catches, whatever. And he thought he was a D1 player. I said, I don't think you are. I don't think you're fast enough, right? But, you know, he proved me wrong. But only one school wanted him. Yeah. He went to La Tech with Tony Franklin and those guys, right?
That's down there, I know.
So then he goes there, and he's the leading receiver there. So he says, now I'm an NFL guy. I said, man, I don't know if you're an NFL guy, but I'm not going to doubt you again. So nothing happened after the first year. So he trained. The next year, went to a pro day. One scout from Carolina, Ricky Proles, who played on The Greatest Show on turf, right? He goes, oh, this guy kind of reminds me of good hands, runs hard, but not overly fast. They brought him to camp. The mini camps where you kind of make it, he made it enough to go to summer camp. He still got cut, but the point was one guy thought he might make it. You only have to convince one guy that you're good enough. I should never doubted anybody because I'm not that one guy. But I'm saying in my mind, and this is where I'm going to be honest, you know me, I ain't going to lie. I tell you guys, you may not, I ain't going to sugarcoat it. I don't know that you're D1. And you and I talked about that. I said, if you're trying to leave now, you probably won AA. If you wait another year, you could do 2 years of showing people, get a little bit bigger. Maybe you said, Coach, I still want to go. So you left. No big deal. You were happy. I'm happy for you. We came with a plan. But, you know, it's just that one guy. And how does it work? And there, you know, it happens all the time. You know, how many guys are in the NFL that were JC players? There's quite a few. How many guys, CJ Anderson is a prime example, are done well in the NFL that were free agents? They didn't even get drafted. So again, don't let anybody take your dream away, but understand, have a backup plan. So your dream sometime might be B. You know, everybody says, well, you better have a plan B. Well, maybe that's your plan B. Your A is still, I'm going to go get my degree, I'm going to get my degree. Yeah. But always have something, no matter what it is. Have a plan in case that avenue is not open to you.
No, I think that's big for, you know, young athletes right now on the JUCO high school level to hear that. I mean, especially in college, like you said, and you know, self-evaluate yourself. Like, what do you do well? You know, for me, I knew I'm short and slow. I play receiver, so I know I wasn't going to D1 guy. I was like, I have good hands. I can run routes. I knew my skill set. I knew, you know. So I think players just have to evaluate, you know, their skill set. So,
but that was smart that you're able to do that. It's a tough thing, right?
Oh yeah,
self-awareness.
Just like this, right?
Period, yeah.
Look at all these people you know in your life, male or female, right? They swear they're good looking. You look like, dang, they ugly as sin. But someone loves them, right? Yeah. Like I tell you, outside your mama, that's the only one that's gonna say you pretty. But there's someone in life that will say, man, you pretty in other ways. Again, it's superficial, right? So go do your thing, man. Don't, you know, but it's hard to do that. It just is.
Definitely was a sport you played your whole life, or, you know, you're just so attached to it. Football gives you some opportunities. I believe football has, you know, it's more than just playing, coaching. You get into scouting, personnel. Me and DLane doing a podcast now. So so many opportunities outside the actual playing aspect that I think young players need to realize if you really love the game.
Absolutely.
Coach, I had another question for you on the high school level, and I actually kind of got some of the insight from Deco on this topic as far as 7-on-7, and Deco and a couple of FBS coaches I talked to about it too. They feel some type of way about these 7-on-7 programs and 7-on-7 coaches because they go out to recruit some of these players to their high school and they're not there. You know, and you ask the head high school coach, oh, where's so-and-so at? Oh, he's on the trip with this guy. Well, why he's not here with his team, you know, working out? Or have you dealt with any of that so far? Like, as far as recruiting, you go to a school and the guy isn't there?
Yeah, you know, we not so much, but I get it. You know, like I said, 7-on-7, that's the tennis shoe league, man. That ain't real football, right? And then now the 7-on-7 is 5 wides all the time. Well, who plays 5 wides?
Exactly.
But I know that there's some positives to it, right? It teaches you how to compete. You get against some of the best people, and you get some different coaching. We ran 7-on-7 when I was at Skyline, right? I enjoyed taking the kids there, but we were a man-to-man team, right? We played man-to-man all the time, knowing that, you know, you get 4 seconds or 4.5 seconds throwing a passing league. We never, at Skyline, you better not let someone have 4.5 seconds. I'm going to fire somebody. Yeah. But the point is we got to be good at it, and we got to compete, and they got to see other folks. And so there is, I think, there's good and bad with anything. I'm not going to say that, but I do know that I worry for a profession that 7-on-7 is becoming like AAU basketball, where kids are being pimped. They're being pimped for their money to say this, and this. that may not be reality, right? And so it bothers me because you can see I was looking at a couple of different people that like these are number one quarterbacks, won't because on these 7-on-17. But in a real season, when people are trying to hit them, they can't get it done. And they got coverages, they got linemen coming, they got linebackers dropping. It's different.
Definitely.
So I mean, I think there's a place for it. I think people are putting too much emphasis in the wrong way, though.
Okay.
I agree with what you said to me. I remember in high school there wasn't 7-on-7 leagues for me. I graduated in 2012. We did 7-on-7s in the summer. So
Correct.
we had, up to Chabot, different JUCOs.
Yes.
I think it's better like that because one, you're with the
own
players
teammates.
you're playing with, exactly. But as you said, there's benefits from it that you can, like let's say you're a slow receiver. Well, I'm going against the number one corner in my state and I just scored him 3 times. So there's benefits, but it's not real football like you said.
But here's the flip side to it. Maybe because we know, let's be honest, right? There's some high schools aren't very good.
Yeah.
Their coaches don't do extra. And maybe you are, a really good receiver that is a run game, right? Their court don't have a court. So you can go there and show your skills.
Yeah.
Houston Lillard. Team Lillard.
I know. Yeah. He just.
Team Lillard.
I just got in contact with him.
So Team
through
Lillard,
Twitter.
right? He does it the right way. One is he doesn't have to pimp the kids because of his brother Damien, right?
Mm-hmm.
But what Houston's trying to do is teach these kids values and train them for their position. He uses the vehicle as a 7-on-7, right? So he looks at it different. He doesn't need your money, right? Some of these cats, just like AU, that's their job. That's their money.
Mm-hmm.
So are they really looking out for your best interest? And remember, in 7-on-7, you don't need grades.
That's true.
Right now, Houston, being different, he's holding them to an academic standard as well. He says, okay, you can come my 7-on-team, but you got to go to tutoring.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? So Team Lillard, I know I'm giving a shout out to him because that's my boy, but he's doing it the right way, I think, in my mind. He's got some great players out of the Northwest, and he's in a different situation because of his brother Dame, obviously, right?
Yeah, definitely.
But he's doing it the way, like him and I talk all the time. And he says, well, Coach, I'm not gonna play this kid because he ain't going to class. Or he took this kid that no one knew about and then trained him. The kid had been a basketball player, and now he's got a football scholarship because his coach couldn't, right? So, I said, like I said, I think there's good and bad. I don't want to ever say there's absolute.
Oh yeah,
Definitely.
I think to make it more good and have the more positive, effect that we want to have, I think just be a little more organization with it. Your coaches should be like checked more. I feel like there's need to be a checks and balances.
Yeah, I just wish the high schools took advantage of it, right?
Yeah.
So that more of a high school league. Make them be an off, kind of like you have, off-season flag, right, or off-season 7-on-7. So make it a league for McClymonds versus Castro Valley, right? That would be a way that, and then you got to have grades.
Yeah.
That ain't a fair matchup.
Yeah,
I don't know why you. Not right now. Maybe in the '90s for Castro, but not right now.
But you hear what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But be a way. And we all know when you're a student athlete and you're participating, your grades are better. As soon as you get out of season, your grades slip because you waste your time. So if you had to be in this other league and you had grades, maybe that wouldn't slip. So maybe we get more kids Division I ready at the end of the day.
That's true. That is a good point. I mean, we're gonna leave you off with this. Coming out for a big season last year. What do you think it's gonna take for Laney to be that constant contender year in and year out?
I think we already are, right? I think we have been, and I think you got to look at it 2 different ways, right? Even when we weren't winning the national championship, right, we were still sending 90% of our athletes out. We still doing what my mission as the head coach was to educate young men, primarily black men, brown guys, right, like, with the photos we talked about, giving them a place for they can get better. So that hasn't changed. So I think we've always been a championship there. And I think that's what you have to look at now. National champ, state championship, get in the ring. Let's not lose sight of what we're here for, right? And I think it's because of how we recruit, we don't bring in, we're not like City that brings in 30 guys from out of state. We don't, we might have 6 guys out of state. So we're kind of dependent on what the local talent looks like. And I mean that there's always going to be good talent in this area, but if they got grades, they're not coming, right? Exactly. So when they don't have grades, we get them. And so, when we get the 2 photos, Anthony and Joe, they didn't have grades. So, they're both Power 5 guys. I don't want to change that mission. I believe in community college. Now, I'm okay with our community college growing. It's like Antioch, Pittsburgh, down San Jose, Sacramento even. But I think that's where we need to stay in. So we kind of are limited, you know, because I don't want to go out of state. I think the kids here that we deal with every day need us. And if I'm going to help them, I need them and their families. Because if you got an issue at home, I mean, if I have an issue, I can call home and get help. If you're from Florida or Georgia, man, well, there ain't no help, right? And if you need help, and let's say I'm on you too hard, you know, I'll be on people, right? Well, you can go home and talk to moms or your high school coach or whoever and like help you, man, just get through this, right? So having that being here is good, but it also is tough because the talent here goes up and down. You both know it. I mean, you guys have been involved. It ebbs and flows, and as long as we stay there, we're going to do it. But we're always going to be good, you know, and we'll be great. And I tell you what, being great, we're great every day in a lot of ways. This winning the state championship, and everybody can't believe I say this, it was luck. See, you can't believe I say that. And the reason is this, because guys stayed healthy at the right time.
I always heard winning championships, it requires a little luck. Almost in every sport.
It does.
Any sport,
right? You got to be healthy. You have to be healthy at the right time. The right matchup has to happen, right? Everything has to align.
The right play calls. You know?
Right play calls. But, you know, the right matchup, who we played, right? You know, we played Ventura. I don't think they know how to stop the run. I don't think they run the ball. Anybody runs the ball, right? So if you threw the ball, they're going to probably be all over us. But we ran, so they didn't know how to. And then we hit them with special teams. We went after them on, you know, Deco special teams, right? I don't think down there they spend as much time because we're Laney. We've always been a small school, right? So we take all three phases so importantly, right? So we spend a ton of time on special teams where maybe other teams haven't had to because they had so much other talent.
Okay, I think that was a perfect segue, Coach, because I was going to ask you, I feel like you had probably better, after talking to Deco, you had better talented teams. Like, I feel like my defense was a real good talented team the year before with Seth and Jamal. That team was great on defense. What made this team, besides the luck factor, I mean, I think you answered it already, all three phases, but what made this team have the ability to win it all? I think it
just we were good on offense, good on – a lot of times in community college, right, you have a freshman quarterback and a veteran defense, or you have a veteran quarterback and offense and a young defense, right? This year we got Jordan Brookshire, came from Santa Rosa where he had some issues and came to Laney. He flourished. John McDonald, our running back, he had left on a track scholarship because he played with Marcel and Amari as freshmen. Then when they played, he was on a track car and left. We decided to come back and want to play football. Our line, our starting left tackle and center both would have played the year before but got hurt. So this was literally their third year, third and fourth year here. Now we got this veteran line. Our two linebackers happened to come in both together, ready to play. Jordan Whitley, the guy that went to Oregon State, finally got in shape to do what he needed to do. And we had these two great corners come in, the Wright brothers, right? And one had been a receiver his whole life and came to be corner. And all of a sudden we got 2 6'3" corners. And Demeek, the one kid from out of state, who's phenomenal. He won a state championship.
Y'all got him from Ohio, right?
Yeah, Cincinnati.
Okay.
Was LaSalle. Now you got 3 great
Shorty
corners.
was telling me about him.
Yeah,
my boy Shorty. I was working with Shorty. That's my guy right
exactly.
there. Exactly.
So luck when everybody came at that right time. Jared Smart, our receivers were all sophomores, all unselfish. When you looked at them, these are receivers with guns, right? You talk about they got guns, right? They took it. BJ, Angelo, Matt guy didn't have guns, but he's a phenomenal kid. But Jared Smart, right? And then they just got it together. So again, when I say that, that's what happens. And now this year, it's going to be tough. We got a young quarterback, right? Didn't play last year. Was on the team, but he's going to have to go. Line is solid, but we got to find a running back. 2 new linebackers. The 2 corners were freshmen, are back. Right? But our safety was a 3-year player, shirted, 2-year starter. Now we got to find that guy. So, it's now it's on us as coaches. It's always on us. We got to get them ready. Right? That's what we got to do. And then we got to get DLane to help us with, young Connor. Young Connor over at Castro Valley.
Laney forever, baby. I'm Laney forever.
So, with those needs, what do you want to tell, young high school players or guys thinking of transferring to JUCO? Why should they come to Laney and be part of this?
Absolutely. Here's the thing with Laney, right? We're gonna be with you. We got all these. I'm here full time. Coach Haig's here full time. Coach Ramos is full time. Coach Rob is here full time. Coach Kevin's here full time. Coach Vince is here full time. DG and Deco are here half time, but they're here in the afternoon when you're down in this area. right? We're going to give you all the academic support that you need to be successful. We're going to push academics. We have our own strength coach. So you're going to go to the weight room and deal with a strength guy that's going to only going to worry about making you better in the weight room, right? Then here's what I tell people, right? And Eddie Hurd says this all the time. We paid Eddie Hurd to come to Laney. Now, is that illegal? No, because he qualified for a Pell Grant, $6,500. You get what we have at Laney called a completion grant. That means you pass 15 or more units with a 2.0 or better, or 2.5. You get another $4,000. All of a sudden, you got 10G to come to Laney, and all you have to do is go to class and get grades.
Play football.
Easy.
Exactly, right? So I think that's the way. We have tutoring, we have study hall, we have all the things to help you be successful. Now, like I tell everybody, I can't help you until you get on this campus because I can't pick you up. So if you want to come and work, you want to compete, you want to be challenged every day, and you want to be supported, this is the place to be.
That sounds good to hear. I know a lot of players that came here and played. Being at a different JUCO, I can say myself, I didn't have half those opportunities at my JUCO. And so, for all the young players, you're Coach Beam. That's big right there, with all those opportunities. So thank you for coming on the show, Coach.
Let me just say this, right? You two inspire me. Two young brothers have found something to do positive in the community, right? You're not letting go of what you're doing, but you're trying to help the community in your own way. Which is around something you love, athletics. It's not just football, but I'm sure football is the primary, but it's athletics. My hat's off to you two. This is not easy. You putting yourself out there trying to make it happen. And I think for everybody out there, what you're doing for everybody, you're letting them share, you're sharing with them your knowledge, your experiences, so that they don't have to make that mistake and they can go with it. And I'm not talking just about coming to Lane. I'm just talking about life, everything you do. So you keep doing what you're doing. I know it's not easy every Friday or Saturday to find the right speaker and get him to show up. But I'm glad you had me on here. I had so much fun. You can tell I'm fired up, bro.
Yeah, I know.
Let's go.
This is great. This is for sure one of our best interviews, Coach, man.
Right. I appreciate you.
Appreciate it, man. Thank you, man.
Thank you.
Good.
Still went for it. It's time to change the club.